Studying the infinite number pi with Yehoshua. That's me. Yehoshua Leon, Josh Leon. Pi is amazing for me because it contains everything. It's like when you study pi, you're studying everything. Sometimes you're studying Gemara, Talmud, you're studying Mishnah, you're studying, let's say, history, you're studying economics, finance, literature, geology, geography. But when you study mathematics, of course, how can I leave that out? Statistics, probability. But when you study pi, you're studying all of it in one. And that's what I call chaos mathematics. And that's what I'm very deeply involved in. It might contain some elements of pure mathematics. And I like to bring examples, short examples, and then I recite pi. That many numbers of where that number is. And so the number today is 281. And yesterday it was 127 because of what I explained about meeting these guys from Chicago. This one guy from Chicago, and he said, "Go Bears," and I was wearing my Bears cap, and the score that I went to only one Bears game in my whole life, and the score, it was 3 years ago, over 3 years ago, and the score was the Commanders beat the Bears 12-7, so it's like 127. But when I saw these guys, I was wearing my 3 years later. It's the only Bears game I ever went to. The score was 12-7. So you can look at that. It looks just like 127. But on December 7th, which is exactly that 12-7, 3 years later, I'm wearing a Bears cap. I don't always wear a Bears cap, but I was wearing my Bears cap, and this guy from Chicago goes, "Go Bears." You could write that off to a coincidence. You could say these things happen, and that's neat and whatever. I don't write it off to coincidence. I think that's amazing. It's not only amazing, but it points to the scriptedness. There's some kind of mathematical structure to this reality that I'm just, I don't know what the word is. Is a word that describes extreme wanting to, maybe obsessed, but like really, really wanting to find out how to get a grip on this mathematical structure of reality. Because look, numbers are the same for everyone, whether you're whatever nationality, belief, religion, color, whatever. Numbers are numbers, and they're the same. And if you can gain an understanding of reality through that, you could probably answer a lot of questions just at that level. And I couldn't get over it. I mean, I remember the score, it was 12-7. And then on 12-7, 3 years later, I'm wearing a Bears cap, and someone from Chicago says, "Go Bears." I mean, how do you explain that? The numbers are there. The numbers don't lie. It's an exact truth. So, I won't belabor that point, but I think you get the point in the kind of math that I'm involved in. So, today, the number is 821. And I didn't know it was 821 until, 281. See, when you work with permutations, you can get confused. It's good to be a little bit dyslexic, but not too much, Be dyslexic in a good way, but the idea here is that I work with all 6 permutations of a 3-digit number. Like, 128, 182, 218, 281, 821, and 812. Those 6. I correlate that to the 6 steps of Solomon's throne, and many other 6 things. But 6 wings, maybe the angel says. But if I don't have a number by the time I'm writing my code 20, my writing 20. That's what I call it. It's called the 20 every day. It's called 20, and there are 20 lines, and they hold information, and that makes the whole day. and I have to complete 20 every day, and it's 20 parts of the day, and a day can extend up until 24 hours. There's 20 parts of a 24-hour day, and so when I come to number 7, it's the one where the infinity pi matrix comes in. And sometimes I don't even have the number. Today, if you don't have the number, you can just put the date. The date today, interestingly enough, is 12/8, 128. So I was going to put 128, but then I realized that things happened in the day that pointed to 281. And I'll tell you what that is. The same type of thing. Fascinating stuff. And this might be the new frontier of some new consciousness. It might be the brink, the next phase of the next, entering the 5th dimension or something. The 4th dimension, the 5th dimension. This is where time and thought are really just one thing. So I'm remembering something. I'm always in my memory, but I'm not living in the past. I'm in my memory, but the memory is supposed to be useful for the present. And what I'm saying is that there is no past. So it's all present. So that means that I'm remembering something somebody said about a year ago this time, it was in this Torah portion, but it could have been 2 years ago, it doesn't matter. If it's in the Torah portion, it's all the same time. Even 10 years from now, it's going to be the same energy. So I remember someone was saying that, which it turns out that it wasn't true, but it helped out anyway. He was saying this because he was from Israel. He was saying some Torah, some weekly Torah portion. It was Parshas Vayeshev, the Torah portion of Vayeshev, which is this week's Torah portion. I think it might have been a year ago, or maybe it was 2 years ago. Maybe it was last year. But he was saying that when the story of Judah and Tamar, when he goes to Chira, the Adulami, it says Re'ehu. The way he said it was, or the way I remember him saying, he said that it's the first time it says the word Chaver in the Torah, but it doesn't say Chaver. It says Re'ehu, and it's also not the first time. It says Re'ehu by the Migdal, the Tower of Babel. It says they confuse each one their language, each one their friend, confuse their language, I think. But anyway, it stuck. That idea stuck, which is good. So I looked up Re'ehu, and Re'ehu is 281, right? Reish is 200. Ayin is 70, it's 270. Right? And 270, and Hey and Vav. Re'ehu. Re'ehu. 281. So, just happens to be today's 128. 12/8, but that's not what I was even going for. It just adds an extra icing to the cake. 281, I quickly opened my other email, and what do I see? I see someone sent me a comment on a Torah that I sent last week. I made in my Dvar Torah last week, I spoke about Benjamin and the name that his father gave him. Jacob gave him the name Benjamin, but his mother gave him Ben Oni. And so it was Ariel Cohen Aloro. He sent me a comment on that. He said that Rabbi Ginsburg said, or no, he didn't say Rabbi Ginsburg. This is where the confusion happens. He said that Ben Oni, which is equal to 119, and Binyamin, which is equal to 162, equals 281. It does. 119 plus 162 is 281. Right? Right. If you add Jacob's and Rachel's, you add them together, Benjamin plus Ben Oni is 281. But that also equals Ginsburg. If you write Gimel, Yud, Nun, Zayin, Beis, Vav, Resh, Gimel, Ginsburg, it equals 281. What was interesting is the moment I was thinking about Re'ehu and the 281, I clicked on the email and I'm seeing he's responding to me, and he said 281, Benjamin plus Benoni 281, Ginsburg 281. I'm thinking, this is not an accident. This is not an accident. And so I'm thinking, wow. Okay, so then I'm going on my YouTube, I'm doing my gematria calculations today. And one of the people I like to listen to, maybe you know who he is, Joey Rosenfeld. He's very into Kabbalistic things, Hasidus and Kabbalah, and he's like a very, his style is, he talks like a, how should I say it, a laser focus. He speaks in this one monologue without breaking, like, it just keeps on, it's like a wellspring that flows over. I'm saying in a good way. I'm saying it's like very intense. It's like he's going straight without stopping, which just shows you his concentration and his intensity of thought. It really pours out when he's talking. Anyway, I like him because he's very focused, and I go to him when I want to just go into the Kabbalah and just totally veg out in the Kabbalistic realm. And he's talking about things like the Aruch Anpin and the Zeir Anpin and the whole mechanics of it, and how this and Rachamim, and he's going da 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 da. And he was talking today about the Aruch Anpin and how the garments conceal and reveal and all that Kabbalistic stuff. I'm not saying I always understand it, but sometimes I like to just dwell in that place. Let my imagination kind of flow there. So the way I understand things most concretely is through numbers. So what I do is, when I don't understand anything, and this is kind of I think you might think this is like a goofy kind of way of doing it. Let's say I'm looking at this really deep concept, right? Like the Zeir Anpin of the Nukva of the whatever, and it equals 58. Let's say that's much more, but saying, and then 58 equals pizza, right? So I'm eating pizza, saying, so all those words, that equals pizza. So now I'm eating pizza, that equals the pizza. It's a chaos, right? It's a little cuckoo. But for me, it's fun. It's because it's like, if I understand all this Zeir Anpin and Aruch Anpin and this Halal Panui and this and the Kav and all these things, I want to understand it, but I don't. But you know one thing I do understand? I understand the pizza. The pizza is good. So I'm eating the pizza. I'm saying, this is the Zeir Anpin, this is the Aruch Anpin. It's very like a little cuckoo, it's a little like Baal Shem Tov, kind of like Rav Nachman, like nutty kind of shtus, holy shtusim. And so this is my expression of the shtus shebekadusha, the holy shtusim. So like and it's both basically focused on food a lot, because food is something that we all understand, we all like, and we can relate to. You don't have to go so deep. But if you put deep concepts in the food, so I'm eating the food, it's like I'm eating the concept. If anything else, at least I'm having a fun time. If nothing more than that. But anyway, getting back to 281, okay, here's what I did. This is the title of his thing, okay? Aruch Anpin and the paradoxical nature of garments, the conceal and reveal. The conceal and reveal. That's how it writes it. You know what that equals? In full reduction gematria? I bet you can guess. 281. So all those things that happened with the Ginsburg and with the Benoni, and now Joey Rosenfeld's in the picture. And how he's connected to it. How did that happen? He was teaching on the Adir Bamarom by the Ramchal. So that's that. The title of his thing is equal to 281 in full reduction gematria. So that's the number for today. 281. And here's the icing. Here's the cherry on the cake. If you made it this far, if you count, see, here's where the infinity pi matrix comes. Okay, this is the infinity pi matrix. Yeah. The infinity pi matrix is my way of breaking down pi. See? Pi. It starts 314 one we all know. I mean, 3, 1, 4. Most people know probably. It goes by threes. 314, 159, 265, 358, 979, 323, 846, 264, 338. Anyway. V'chuli. But if you count 3 as the 1 and you count 281 digits, you know what number you're going to come to? 821. 821. Remember I was talking about permutations? You're going to come to the 2, but some people count after the decimal points and you'll come to the 1. So that's just the icing on the cake. 821, 281, today is 12.8. Anyway, that's chaos mathematics for you. This will be the first 281 digits of pi, recited by memory, stopping at the 2, because, Elu ve'elu divrei Elokim Chaim, and saying there's an expression like that. Some people like to count from the 3, and some people like to count from the 1. So I'll just do both, Elu ve'elu. They actually both are good. 3, 1, 4, 1, 5, 9, 2, 6, 5, 3, 5, 8, 9, 7, 9, 3, 2, 3, 8, 4, 6, 2, 6, 4, 3, 3, 8, 3, 2, 7, 9, 5, 0, 2, 8, 8, 4, 1, 9, 7, 1, 6, 9, 3, 9, 9, 3, 7, 5, 1, 0, 5, 8, 2, 0, 9, 7, 4, 9, 4, 4, 5, 9, 2, 3, 0, 7, 8, 1, 6, 4, 0, 6, 2, 8, 6, 2, 0, 8, 9, 9, 8, 6, 2, 803, 482, 534, 211, 706, 798, 808, 214, 808, 651, 328, 230, 664, 709, 384. I can do the landing way, that's a good one. 384, 460, 955, 058, 223, 172, 535, 940, 812, 848, 111, 745, 028. I like this one. 028, 410, 270, 193, 852, 110, 555. And now you have to go 964, 462, 294, 895, 493. Okay. 038, 196, 442, 881, 097, 566, 593, 344, 612, 847, 564, 823, 378, 678, 316, 527, 120, 190, 914, 564, 856, 692, 346, 034, 861, 045, 432, 664, 82. That right there, 82. That 2 is the 281st if you hold by counting from the 3, if you count by the 1, then it's 8, 2, 1. 1, that's the. So Elu Elu. No word of Elu Elu these days.